Hello everyone, and welcome back to this Sketchup tutorial series on this house. Today I'd like to just do the porch, and I remember how last time I did the windows or something. Yeah, windows, I believe. So last time I did that. So this time I'll do the porch. Now what I want to do is I want to make it so each portal is exactly the same distance apart, and then I want to put a column in between each portal and have the same distance between each column. So that's what the design of the house is going to call for. Now what it turns out to be is this one will be a little too elongated, and I'm not going to want that. So I have to do a little bit of restructuring here. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So first off, I want to make the columns. Go to the rectangle tool, 8 inches by 8 inches, so make it a component, call it a pillar, because that's what it is, right? Right. Now, remember when I told you about this elongation at the end? Don't want that. So then what I want to do is, in terms of restructuring, I'm going to have to move these windows a little bit. I don't want to move this window, though, because as you can see, it's too close to the edge anyway, so I'm just going to move this one, and then I'm going to move this one. Provided that that's not a window, but oh well. What do I want to do? Camera, parallel projection. So I want to move this. Select it all. And then move it, let's say, 2.5 inches this way. And move that a few inches this way, maybe 5. See how well that works for us. Alright, let's get back to the columns now. Let's make the column. Now let's position them first. And then we'll make them. I'll make them. So like I said, I want them equally apart from each other. So now I got that in which I wanted. So if you notice here, this is a little bit too far. And got a couple inches. Like so. Now time to make those pillars. I keep putting off making pillars. Alright, so just as I predicted, that this will have to be moved a little bit to accommodate. As you can see, it sort of has that Georgian colonial look to it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move this in. Actually gonna make that a group. Because the chimney has to stay where it is, because that's the only place where the flue is. But we're gonna move this roof a little bit. So like whenever you're working on a house, you know, I mean, it's always trial and error, trial and error. You gotta keep trying it until you get it right. Because you won't always see it to get it right the first time. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the structure internally. What this is actually going to be resting on is actually it's going to be going over these closets here. So yeah, the rafters would actually be going over here and then over here. And also bolted to the chimney as well, so should be something good there. And I actually decided, you know, what if I want to bring this in a little bit more? Doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it? To really give it further that colonial look. But then therefore I'll have to do it on all sides of the house. It's not going to be as easy as I thought. But, no, I mean, it's easy, but it's just, I mean, tedious. So, go into roof layer, which I already am in. Silly me. And if you're wondering why I was able to do this so quickly, is because I've been analyzing this off camera. I haven't been doing any work off camera, but I've been doing some analysis on it off camera. Because I noticed some things in my last video that I forgot to address and thought that appeared as strange. So the idea is I'm gonna fix it. That's not as easy as it looks either, so you got to be very careful. Especially if you want to get these things built, you know. Measurements are everything. Because all it takes is one off measurement to make something unbuildable, unconstructible. And that's not good, considering if you're like the architect and you're proud of what you made and figured you can't build it. I guess that's what the role of an engineer is, you know, I mean, they'll make sure it's done right. So yeah, so then there's that chimney there. House is really turning out nice. I'm liking it. Alright, so then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fiddle with this a little bit. Shouldn't take too long. Because, I mean, I pretty much know what I want. But I think it involves a little bit of drawing, which that can actually be a drag to some people. It is a drag to me, but it's the only best way I can think of doing it. People have tutorials on how to make roofs, but some of them are like auto roofs. Like, have you played the Sim games? In the Sims, they have this thing called auto roofs, and it's usually for lazy people. If they don't want to make a roof, you know, a roof, then they'll just click on that auto roof tool, and it'll give them one. However, you know, I mean, just a bunch of fancy angles and stuff. Not And I mean, nothing that's coherent. I think that's the word for it. Let's see, let's bring that in a few 6 inches or however many inches you please. Still a foot, which we are making progress. Well, making progress. Okay, you know, this is a real tedious hassle. It's so funny how just nothing likes to agree with you sometimes. Ever get those feelings? But back to those auto roof things. I don't want it to look like I just have auto roof. And that's a problem with, I mean, a lot of models in the warehouse actually have that sort of effect to them. Is that, I mean, it looks like they just had an auto roof tool, and therefore they miss angles. The ridge looks crazy. It's basically just things to avoid. And I mean avoiding at all costs, too. Yeah, so I decided that if I'm going to do it this way over here, I got to do it this way on all the sides of the house. It's another thing people forget, is that they just do one or a few things and they forget to go and do that, distribute it evenly. And that just makes it look awkward. Awkwardity is not an option. I don't even think that's a word. You know what? It's one of my words. I'll use it. I don't care. I'm a rebel. Wannabe. No. Forget what I just said there. Now I'm rambling. Senseless. And this isn't working. Because of that. So sometimes you just make a cut line there. Well, but I mean, if you think about it, there will be something that goes in here anyway. As this cuts through like that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the eave come out over here and join. A little paranoid about those layers sometimes. and just erase all that I don't need. But then again, you see how I'm changing the roof. Bear in mind, like as I said before, when in design, you are bound to change a few things when you finally see something that you believe is better. Now, it's not always going to be better, but hope for the best. At least most of the time, it is. Not bad at all. Now, let's go back to the pillars, because, this is right now. Two, three, four. So, they're trans layers, so I'm going to have to cut them. Let's go to one of them. Wait, let's make sure we're in the right layer. Okay. Let's go to one of them. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut like a cross section out of one of them. Behind that. And, well, because I don't need to fiddle with them anymore, explode them. Oh, wait a minute. Before, see when I explode it? See that little dotted line? That means those hidden lines are still there, so then that is good. Now, the reason why I exploded these, actually, when I did, was because when I switch layers, I'll switch the whole thing to that layer if it's in a component. At least what version I have. I have Sketchup 7. I'm sure a lot of you have upgraded to 8. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the roof layer off and put the column into the info. Roof. And there we are. And that, my friend, is the video. Alright, and let me give you the overview of what the last video will entitle before I go. Last video will just have facade, cleanup, finish. No, I cleaned it up already, so it'll just be basically finishes. It might be the longest video in this series, just because there's more to do than one thinks. So, yeah, I want to put a vent up here. I want to put like accents around the windows, brick accents. Give them brick ledges, siding, finish the baseboards, and do the floors. There's work to do here, but structurally, there's no more structural work to be done on this, which is good. So, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please rate, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And, yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Alright, bye-bye, everybody. See you very last video.